I to no one's surprise except for everyone in the media, apparently, like Joe Biden pardoned his son, and I like had zero fault. Like if I had the power to pardon my son, we've talked about that before. Like if your dad comes to you, you're like, son, oh, I fucked up. I had a few drinks. I don't know. I was that car, the pedal, it's stuck under the mat, and the next thing you know, I'm gonna. Get your shovel, son. That's all I'm saying. I'm with you. And,
don't be mad. I've been gallivanting with Ukrainian gas companies.
Yeah. That's the part that's a little fucked, because he pardoned him for anything he did or may have done over an 11-year period of time.
13-year, I think. 2011 to 2014.
I'm going to say 11 because that's the number I have in my head. And that is...
That's the best, dude. That is the gold-plated pardon. Like everybody else who got pardons is like Hunter can stunt on that.
I don't like that presidents can pardon people. So Biden pardoning his son is understandable, but obviously corrupt, right? This is just not an equal rule of law. If his son wasn't his son, he wouldn't have got this pardon. It's not fair. Trump pardoned a lot of people who committed crimes on his behalf. Roger Stone comes to mind, Paul Manafort, Flynn, I could go on. But before him, Clinton was pardoning people who donated campaign money. And I don't know if there's any Obama ones, but there probably are. I can't think of anyone who's finished their term and hasn't done a bunch of pardons at the end that were dirty as fuck.
Yeah.
Why are presidents pardoning people at all? This isn't being used well. We should undo this.
I think it's always been I guess I'm not shocked because people are going to pounce on whatever, but the idea that it's shocking that the presidential pardon is just a tool to pardon friends, allies, donors, family, that's what it's for.
Trump pardoned a lot of people who were in prison for minor drug offenses. Toward the end, he had some guy he was like, go find a bunch of people that need pardons for me. Some that look good, maybe probably. And he did. He pardoned a lot of black folks who were in jail for a long time. He for nonviolent 3-strike marijuana offenses and bullshit like that. I don't know. I kind of like that it's a bit of a wild card in our political system. It's a little throwback to kings and queens of old that they have this.
That? That's not a thing we're supposed to like.
It's a little bit of it. We don't give him a scepter and a crown, but we do say what he says fucking goes. I like that. I like that we got a dude somewhere and what he says fucking goes. Don't you know he can have you killed and then he can pardon himself for doing it? Don't you know he can do that to you? His word is law. I like that.
The reason
it gives him that extra level of power where it's don't you fucking know that I could just shoot you right here? And they just drag you out of the fucking room and we'd move on to the next topic, dude. That's how hardcore the president is. I like that a little. However, I don't. The problem in this instance is that Biden has done this, and now you know what comes next. Now Trump has free reign because it's oh yeah, what about Hunter? Do we want to relitigate that? That's his immediate redirect. If on day one, say he's got the pardons for all the January 6 tourists, laid out, and he doesn't even sign anymore. He's just got a stamp with that big goofy signature of his, and he just rapid stamps them all. If he pardons them day one, because one of them's 72 years old and she's got 2 more years to go. Her kids are saying she's going to die there. And
that one sounds wild. In general, I suspect that almost all of them are going to be out of prison by January. Most of them got a couple of months. Not all.
There's some of them who got
I don't have the numbers.
Years.
The people who got years were often kind of ringleaders, and there's all these texts and stuff pointing to their organization of it. But the tourists, the ones that obeyed the velvet ropes, they didn't get 5, 10, 15 years.
I feel you. I like having fun with it because I it's such a divisive issue that kind of flew over my radar at the time. It felt to me like it was overblown. However, I have certainly seen so much goddamn footage that I'm oh man, you guys are going wild. Whoa, some of y'all are in it to win. Holy shit. There's some folks in that crowd but I've also seen like the conspiracy videos that go back like 10 blocks away from ground zero, from the Capitol steps, and there's this guy who's rounding people up. We're going, and it reminds me of Will Ferrell from Old
Ray
School.
Epps,
when he's
that
like,
sounds right.
we're going streaking.
Yeah,
we're going, like he's getting people fired up. He's like, we're going here. We're doing this. We're doing that. And it's like, who's that guy? Who is that guy?
I don't think
he's an Oathkeeper chapter president.
That is.
That's a fed.
He's a former Marine and an Oathkeepers chapter president, and he got a misdemeanor count of disorderly conduct in his participation in the attack and got a year of probation. And that is part of why people think he's a fed, because that's not much punishment.
Yeah. If we're
you guys like about the
my point is like I don't like the Biden thing.
He didn't enter the building. I'm sorry. Just want to throw that.
I don't like the Biden pardon because it gives Trump like carte blanche, I feel, to really go hog wild on day one if he wants with his. Did you see what he said about like the Middle East? That wild state?
No, let me hit back the Biden. I don't like the
do.
pardon either, but I think Trump was going to do whatever he wanted with or without it. I don't think now it's going to be like, oh, we can disobey norms. Trump wasn't going to like follow norms in the first place.
Does part of you guys like is there part of you that likes the presidential pardon for no other reason than like it's just the most clear, lucid example, one of a litany you could name, but the most clear that like these people don't have to play by rules. They exist in a different world than us. They can steal, kill, assault. They can do whatever they want. They can do pay for play, like anything, foreign countries, and they can just wave it away. No, I think it's a stark reminder that like they'll say like no one's above the law. It's like no, all of you are in a way. Like none of you play by the rules that any normal tax-paying American would have to play by.
Oh, come on! I just think that the president should have some extra powers. I don't know if anybody else does.
I like the president and governors, for that matter, having extra powers if I could trust them. But name a president who hasn't pardoned people for either campaign contributions or relationships or whatever.
They can get around the whole thing. Like George Bush was just like, hey, well, it's not really a war, so I don't need approval for it. It's not going to last like 20 years or nothing. I promise.
So Trump had the meeting with Trudeau this week. Once again, I love this as well. Like Trudeau has to fly down to Mar-a-Lago and bend the knee. Like everybody has to come to Trump. I appreciate that. Trump's in France right now, so I guess it's not ubiquitous.
We're America, dude. They got to come to us.
Well, some of them do. Okay. And so Trudeau flies. Trudeau's scared though. France isn't scared. So Trudeau comes down and the quotes from the meeting are something. Trudeau says something like 25% would cripple the Canadian economy. You're talking about $100 billion. And Trump said something like, your economy would be crippled if you didn't steal $100 billion from us every year. Maybe you should be the 51st state.
I heard that.
and then the quote is,
Greenland.
To which Trudeau laughed nervously. And then on the Middle East, regarding the hostages in Gaza, he said something like, there will be hell to pay if the hostages aren't released on day one. Hell will rain down on you like nothing America has ever done in its storied history. Something like that. Some crazy talk, like some crazy talk about raining hell down like never before. It's just fun again. It's just fun again.
America's back.
Such a fun time. Yeah, when Trump says wild shit, I don't know how to handle that correctly, right? Sometimes I'm frustrated that people just sane wash it, right? Like, what do you? He didn't mean what he said. He meant what I prefer him to mean. That's one thing people do. On the other hand, oftentimes he doesn't mean what he says. He's just starting with a wild, fucking ridiculous negotiation position.
Yep,
and he doesn't actually. Sure. Maybe we'll watch and see how this goes. Right? To say that Trump would never implement a big tariff, well, we'll see. I don't think
if he does, though, it's a squeeze to get to the deal, though. Like it's not like the new way around.
I've heard him talk about 200% tariffs on cars made in Mexico. I think that is just an empty threat, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And cars made in Mexico is like Ford and Chevrolet cars. That's where like if you go buy any part for like your truck, I remember we used to buy these fuel filters, the fuel pumps for like the Chevrolet Silverado, and it was like made in Mexico. I was like, why don't we get the good one? It's like, that is the good one. That's where Chevrolet fucking fuel pumps come from. They come from
European countries like have tariffs levied on us for stuff like cars.
Course, very common.
Or it's like if you want to sell Ford in Germany, you have to build it in Germany. Like your plant has to be there. And so like they're hitting us with it. And if we can actually get some gains, even just through threatening it, like doing what Trump does, which is, this isn't like a Trumpism of like, he's so brilliant. It's quite literally just like business or B2B is like, if you're trying to negotiate, you set the anchor point high or low, depending on what you want to happen. And then you move from there. Trump if Trump thought like, oh man, I think I could put a 18% tariff, but if I went 19, it would really potentially hurt the Canadian economy. So I'm going to threaten 15. It's like, no, threaten the moon and then make them pleased when suddenly he's like, okay, all the Canadians aren't going to be mad at me because it's going to be, it's going to be more expensive, but it's not what Trump was saying it was. So I can frame this to my people like a victory. It allows plausible deniability on both sides for that. Like if he comes in high and Trudeau talks him down to something much lower, both sides get to say they won. And in a way they kind of did. Well, we're the bigger winners, but they get to save face.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Like Trump negotiated the trade deal with Mexico. He bragged about how great it was. Now he says it sucks. So
next year Trudeau's up for election.
See what he can do.
I think they do like 6 years up there, don't they? They have longer terms, I think, than we do. I
just imagine Trump being like Michael Scott in that episode where he's created the Michael Scott Paper Company, and he's like, "Let me tell you what I see. I see like a CEO who's got to go before the board next month and tell them that their most profitable branch is bleeding." I don't know if either of you watched those clips I sent you, but the first one is who's Matt Gaetz? Is he like a crazy person that's not taken seriously?
He's a politician.
I know that.
House of Representatives in Florida, and he's one of those performative Republicans. Like, he wore a gas mask to sort of say that COVID was fake to the floor at the in the Congress building. He's also the one I bring up. Charges kind of dropped, but who hired that sugar baby and flew her across state lines, and she turned out to be under 18, but she lied and said she was 19. So I hold him like
lying child.
Yes,
lying child.
But and he's really, really MAGA. So he's totally MAGA. He likes 17-year-old girls, and he's a bit performative.
That clip, I stumbled upon it on YouTube Shorts, and he's talking to the FBI's like, who is it? Their tech site or something like that, and it's about the Hunter Biden laptop. And he's asking if he knows where it is, and the guy is like, "I do not know where it is." This is like, "I have a receipt right here. It says the FBI took it. You have it. You took it. Here's the receipt, and you're telling me, and you're the boss. You're the guy who should know. Like, you don't know? I have no idea." Well, I do. I have Hunter Biden's laptop. And I want to enter it into, and just, like that's what the clip is. I don't know if that's
really as the laptop.
I don't know. It's a short. They cut it off at the end. I don't know if he's telling the truth or not. I don't know if it was theater. Real. I don't know if it was an old video. I don't know what it. But I thought it was fun. It was interesting.
When they said this laptop like rings of Russian disinformation, I fell for it. I was like, so wait a minute. You're telling me that this guy who like lives in California, went to Delaware, dropped off a laptop to have it repaired, never picked up the laptop. The laptop just happens to be at a MAGA enthusiast whose security cameras were down when Hunter Biden dropped off the laptop. This is the story I'm supposed to believe. Turns out that story's true.
Yep.
The laptop was Hunter's, and there's a bunch of shit on there, a ton of shit on there that Hunter did, which we all knew Hunter was dirty, right? We all knew that he didn't get the job at like as a consultant for a Ukrainian energy company because of his expertise in Ukraine.
It is energy. A little. It's a weird coincidence, right? That the Hunter Biden thing was all about Ukraine, and now there's that huge war going on there, right?
Yes. Yeah. What was that? And it was Zelensky in charge at the time. Is he involved at all?
No. Not Volodymyr.
I don't know.
A good guy.
There was a more corrupt guy before him. Was he the guy doing this? I don't know. But here's what we know: Hunter's dirty. We don't know specifically what, but this nepotism, what I'm going to assume was some sort of no-show job.
For sure.
Probably most listeners know, but a no-show job is one you don't have to go to. They just pay you as pretending that you work there.
Yeah, because you're like George Bush's son or Biden's son or a nephew of someone powerful, and they're like, oh, well, paying this person $400,000 a year is actually a great investment because they're going to look kindly on us when we need a little favor here or there. So
exactly.
Yeah. It's not like it's just Biden's doing this. It's all of
them. So anyway, not that the fact that like Trump's kids making money makes this any better, but I can't tell what's par for the course, what's pretty extraordinary. I do know I don't like it. So let's see where it goes. What I'm seeing on poll data, I know politics, I'm seeing the Republicans are like a lock to take the House. That's been known for some time now, and are likely to take the Senate, which is kind of new information, and it's trending that way. So in my opinion, polls are always wrong by about 2 weeks, right? They're really today's poll results are what people thought last week. So, and that's because it takes about a week to do the poll and to assemble the results and whatever. Cool. So the new polls we're seeing are like, man, it just keeps tipping more to the Senate. So one would guess that by next week, the Republicans maybe win this thing. And what's tricky is this: we are within the margin of polling error from the Democrats keeping this whole thing and the Republicans sweeping it in a pretty big way. So we are within the margin of polling error of people thinking this election was rigged.
Mm-hmm. I was reading like, and I, who knows how true it is, like that there tend to be like big swings when there are enormous changes in the consumer price index, like throughout. And because that's like really, that resonates with people because that's when they go to the store and in their face, they're like, wait, this pack of chicken wings 3 or 6 months ago was $11. Now it's $16.
I was going to ask Zach to pull that very picture up. I found it too. Can we go back to Hunter Biden blowing his painting? Because
he discovered this while doing cocaine.
That is, I think he's using his crack pipe.
Is that recent?
Yeah. So here's
that's so bad.
Buy into the conspiracy, which I kind of do. This guy needs money, Hunter Biden, and he has made these ink blowing drawings, right? So you put ink on there, you blow them with a straw, and you get something like you're looking at on the screen. And then people are buying them for hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars. And it's like, this is elementary school art stuff. It actually isn't that bad to me. Like, I don't think I could do it quite as well.
That one in the top right looks kind of neat. It looks like
my
some, like,
7-year-old does that.
It look like Petri dishes.
I'm gonna say he's an above average ink blower.
Get out of here.
You know how you can tell this is bullshit? Real artists don't have a assembly line of bullshit. Look, he's got his one he finished 3 minutes ago on the left and the one that he's halfway through on the right, just pumping out trash.
and he's selling it for Zach says his kids can do it. He's selling it for like a notable amount of money, pocketing that. And you might guess the people buying it want favors from the Biden administration. So that's the twist on it.
Well, I think that is reaching personally. I just think that
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, like
it is quite the reach that our
political families using their connections for personal gain.
I don't buy it.
Hang on.
Untold. I can't believe Hunter Biden is the first presidential child to take advantage of this.
I don't think he is.
The institution.
I really don't think he is. So they're 75 to 500,000. So like all right. So that's pretty wild then if they're $500,000. But my first thought process was like, I just can't imagine the scenario where like this literal crackhead calls up his father and the president and says, "Hey, Daddy, that guy from Iran we talked about, he bought the bubbles and for 400,000. I gave him your Snapchat. Is that cool?" All right, cool. He'll hit you up soon. Yeah. No. His username, Allahu Akbar 6969420. Yeah.
6969.
Yeah, he's gonna hit you up now. Like, does that go down? There's no way that goes down. I refuse to believe that goes down.
Not on Snapchat.
Yeah, I don't believe Joe Biden's on Snapchat. Joe Biden's on MySpace. Bro.
Oh my goodness.
He's the
hit me up on AOL.
Oh, that's my friend.
Can
Tom.
I just say the flower pot one looks cool to me? The one with like because I don't know if it's supposed to be that, but like it looks to me like a vase full of flowers. The blue.
I like the one by his legs.
I like that one. Can I? The more we look at him,
fucking sucks.
You're so wrong.
This shit is so bad.
I want the one. I want the one by his legs. I like that one.
Now that I realize the one in the top right is a human figure, I'm a little more impressed.
Taylor, and a landscape with the sun. Okay,
this is 3 out of 10 art. Taylor, show some respect.
Dude,
this is better than I could do.
This is 6 or 7 out of 10 art as far as like abstract art goes.
You know why I don't love it? Because there's no depth to it. Like when I look at an actual oil painting and you can see like the brushstrokes and the thickness and where like what they've done, especially if it's like an ocean or something, like there's a little 3D aspect to it. With ink, it just soaks in.
That's look how lazy he got with those mountains in that right one. No texture there. Were you too busy? Were you too? Oh, this cracks.
I like the mountains.
That was done with a genuine Donald Trump Sharpie.
I mean, 50 years from now, that's going to be in somebody's foyer, and somebody's going to walk in. Why do you have this painting? And they're going to say, well, the son of a sitting president was so broke from drug abuse that he had to sell them on Instagram. And yes, that's how I came to own it. I mean, that's an amazing story. I think
that is an amazing story.
What happened to all those payoffs from the Chinese?
They went to the big guy.
Flush with paintings now.
They went to the big guy. Thank you. You stepped right into it.
Oh, whoa, no, you got me trapped.
Checkmate.
During the 2016
we will just give him the money. They don't have to give us these shitty paintings. They know we have an under the table deal, right? Like, stop giving me this bubble blowing bullshit. Bullshit. I don't want to say anything. I think his son might be retarded.
Americans, stop dumping your trash here.
During the 2016 election, there was a broker in New York that was selling a Lamborghini Diablo that had previously been owned by Donald Trump, and Trump's owned 20 Lamborghinis. But it's a guy called me for a quote on it because they were selling it for probably $100,000 more than the car would have been worth, and he asked me what I thought of it. I said, well, right now, you're selling a Lamborghini that's owned by a presidential candidate, which it's not the only time that's happened. But who knows? A few months from now, it could be a Lamborghini that was owned by a president of the United States. And he's like, and they laughed me out of the room. And I was like, I mean, it's possible. He's still on the ballot.
Yeah.
And I mean, now the thing would be worth 10 times what it was for that reason. But yeah, there was a picture of Trump in it, like putting gas in it on Palm Beach Island or something. And I mean, he drove him around. But it's the same thing. Like it's a strange thing to be tied to a president that is certainly going to be a conversation piece for somebody later, even if it looks like it was
president.
For sure.
There you go. There you go. Wow.
2-time president?
Well, one of them could be, I guess.
Who is the other one? Who's the president that did it twice? Garfield?
Well, lots
Grover
of them
Cleveland comes to mind. The one that left and came back.
With the gap in between. Cleveland? Was it Grover Cleveland?
Zach says Cleveland. Got one.
Okay.
Nice little bit of trivia. He can add himself to great names like Cleveland.
What did Cleveland do?
He discovered the Cleveland, Ohio.
That's significant.
Yeah. Yeah, he was an explorer.
Hold on. Just off the top of your head, nobody look it up. We have to guess what year Cleveland was president.
Shit, are you serious?
I know. I'm not going to get it right either, but we're going to look retarded.
I'm going to say his
1840.
presidency. I'm going to say his presidency covered 1927.
1840. Well, that's wrong.
Wow. We don't know.
I'm wrong.
1910.
Okay.
I'm going to say 1890.
Oh, look at you. Oh, just
oh my God, you got it wrong, Taylor.
Taylor
doesn't know shit about history. What the fuck, bro?
Man, that's a tough loss.
Nice job going over, bitch.
No, you do not win with 1840 on that.
Yes, I do. What? It was 1927.
I was 1 year off and 2 years off.
You were in the middle
of those
of
digits,
the two,
right?
That's.
I mind swept that competition. I got as close as possible without getting it on there.
I saw Biden went to to Europe today or recently. He's there now. I guess I'm curious if it's literally because Kamala didn't do a good job, because that's what it seems like. Because they sent her, little time passed, and they immediately sent Biden. And man, I watched Biden walk out to I believe his helicopter is called Marine One. He was walking out to that, and he walked like Mr. Burns with his hands out like this.
Smithers.
He took measured steps, like he had his ankles tied together with string like a boxer, and he had his hands out like this.
He's so fucking old and decrepit.
I need to see it. He looks good on a bicycle. I don't know why I'm defending him.
When did he look good on a bicycle?
1972.
In the before he was elected.
2015?
No.
Oh, 2000.
Right before he was elected. That sounds right.
He lost it.
I believe you. You saw a video I didn't. I'm not telling you you're wrong.
Oh, I mean, it's just his words. I saw him speak today. I watch him speak almost every day. He was better today, but he was better today. But he still.
It's like we had him speak before sundown. He was a little more competent. At 3 p.m. is kind of his sweet spot.
Yeah.
And then, wait, did you feed Biden after midnight? Oh, no, don't give him a mic.
This motherfucker can't speak. And I've seen so many news reports, not just on Fox News, but because I try not to watch that because it's wild over there. I do not like Fox. I try to stay away from their coverage of this shit. It's been crazy over there. Who's Candace Jones? That cute little black chick that the Republicans like so much? Is she is the liberal stance that she's a traitor to our country or something like that? Because she's hot.
I have no idea.
I just see her. So my criticism of her is that she's a little bit skin deep on her things. Like she'll take these strong positions like global warming is fake, and then if you ask her like, well, can you explain why the temperatures are going up? She has no answer. But she's a pretty good speaker. She's the half decent debater if no one's arguing back, and she's pretty reliably Republican.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
I saw Tommy Lauren.
Maybe. She was on there when I clicked on to Fox News, but for the most part, I've been watching mostly like European news. I think there's German, French, and British. I don't know. I've got access to all those.
You're watching news with subtitles?
No, they have English versions of those. It's their channels, but it's English speaking news.
My sources are probably bad, but I watch a lot of like the Reddit sort of underground stuff. Fox and CNN, like those are where I get my stuff, and I try to like get all sides. That's my objective.
Yeah.
Although when you say yours, I'm like, I think he might be doing better than me.
Al Jazeera and I watched some of that, and I watched some of Indian news. I don't even know what it is. They've got this weird fucking symbol. There's not even a number for like their channel or whatever.
Okay.
So like, but it's also English, and like they're the Indians are the most close to being like pro-Russian, but it's not anywhere near pro-Russian. It's still like the Russians continue to murder children today, but were the Ukrainians asking for it tonight at 5?
YouTube has figured out that if they give me Tucker Carlson's latest monologue, I can't resist clicking it.
Oh no.
And sometimes I do, and they're like, well, here he is again. I'm like, I'm not gonna resist twice. Jesus.
You must love Tucker Carlson.
I watch him every day, and I'm totally onto his formula. It's not that hard to figure out. Like the absolutely shaky, untrue premise, build on top of that shaky, untrue premise as if it were rock solid.
This the Hunter Biden stuff is coming back, and it seems like what is definitely true is that Hunter Biden left his laptop at a laptop repair store, and it has been recovered by someone.
And there are incriminating emails on it. The biggest one in my mind is that in this deal, I think with China, they were saving 10% for the big guy. And most people infer that to be Joe Biden himself in on this backroom deal. And it's not good.
It's backroom deals with China, Ukraine, and Russia.
Yeah, I didn't know about the Russia one, although I'm not saying you're wrong.
It's $30 million from Russia.
Wait, they called this whole thing a conspiracy a while ago.
Hang on. Not only did they call it a conspiracy, Facebook labeled it as a conspiracy and like deleted posts and removed accounts who tried to mention it.
Yeah, I know people got banned for bringing it up.
They went Orwellian on something that has turned out to be factual.
That is a problem with fact checking in general. Like Joe Rogan brought this one to my attention, because we talk. And he was like, there was a period where if you said cloth masks are bullshit and don't work, then you were labeled as some sort of traitor, anti-American, anti-science, etc. And then a little time passes and they're like, right, cloth masks are pretty ineffective. Maybe your breath doesn't go quite as far, but for the most part, they're bullshit. You want a more effective mask. Mm-hmm. And but there was a time when if you were like cloth masks were just theater, then you would get like fact checked on Facebook and banned on Twitter and such.
You have to join the mob or be ridiculed by it or be exterminated by it at every turn. And sometimes it's like, yeah, join us, dummy. We're in the mob that drinks clean water. You've been drinking river water all week. That's why you're vomiting and your wife died of cholera yesterday. We're in the clean water mob. So get on board or die like your wife. But then there's like look, fucking vote or die, motherfucker, vote or die. And then it's just like, first of all, you already told me I can't anymore. And second of all, I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
So with the cloth mask thing, maybe I'm foolish. I believe they made an honest mistake. With the Hunter Biden thing, it doesn't feel like an honest mistake. It feels like a little bit of protectionism for someone who was a powerful man. And I don't know.
Like I this week,
that is wild.
Here's what happened this week: that Trump has been at least twice exonerated and like shown to be correct about something. Stormy Daniels is going to have to pay him $300,000 for the defamation.
I know the details on that. Do you want them?
No, I like the broad stroke better. That means Trump.
Her attorney's been in jail for a while.
All I'm hearing is Trump won again.
So let me lay it out because it is worth knowing. Sure. She filed a defamation of character suit against him. It is very hard to win a defamation of character suit. You have to basically prove that someone said something, knowing it was untrue, with the intent of causing damage to you. She wasn't able to prove all those things. So now she owes Trump his attorney's fees, which is $300,000. So I guess if you file a suit and lose, sometimes you have to pay the other dude's legal costs, and that's the case. So that's what he won.
Can you imagine Trump like calling his lawyer and telling him to run the bill up at some point?
Yes, I can imagine that.
Do you want to go golfing?
I can imagine some sort of rich people legalese fuckery in which there's a point where the lawyers know that they're going to win, and someone's like, "Hey, you're going to win. You'll know Thursday," and they're like, "Let's make some phone calls to Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, would you do us a favor and sit the phone on your desk and walk away?"
Yes, there's 24 of us here who need to speak to your empty phone.
We're gonna need to
No, I'm just
let's have a long conversation about nothing at all, Mr. Trump. Just like just running the bill up on him, right? Like I hope that happened for whatever reason. And then obviously, like Trump was pushing this Hunter Biden thing, and Trump spoke so much. Here's the advantage of speaking so much. The disadvantage is you're gonna find so many clips of him saying something wild, but it's okay. Because there are so many clips of him saying something wild that each wild thing seems less wild. The average it becomes such that it's like he says wild things all the time. Look, there's another one. See, or you gonna chase that one down too? Woof 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 woof. Chase it down the street, dummy. Like he say, but when he says enough things, then like I'm sure he was like, I guarantee he's like, there's a conspiracy happening right now. Facebook has called truth lies. This thing happened like this, that, and the other. He probably laid it out exactly the way it has gone down and the way it was at some point in one of his fucking crazy rallies he did. And they're going to drag that shit back up. And they're going to be like, here's what Trump said. Here's what Biden said. Here's clip after clip of you know how dismissive Joe Biden is when it's anything that he wants to like belittle and like tamp down. He acts like you are insulting him and you're a moron, and he will call you names and curse at you to your face. He's done it time and time again in front of crowds of people. So just imagine how he treats people when nobody's looking.
Kyle, I think Trump is not going to do much politically next election.
I don't either.
The midterms will be a barometer. He's out right now campaigning. He's working hard at it, which is not something you do for. Remember when the Russians started getting blood to the border, and it was like, why are they bringing extra blood?
Right. That's not part of a propaganda campaign. You don't bring fresh blood to MASH hospitals.
Trump's out campaigning for the midterms, like he thinks it matters, and I think that Trump is going to make another run at it, and he'll certainly be on that course where he can pull up at any time, and it'll just be a good publicity thing and money made. But I think he's trying to go again.
Yeah,
I think he wants to be the president again, and I think he's going to do everything he can to make that happen. I think that becoming the president might be his best shot of galvanizing himself against any legal problems from his previous presidency, because those things are, and that's why I made that $100 bet with Mitty that, like, put any time frame you want on it. Trump ain't going to jail for anything he did. He's not being found guilty for anything in any sort of meaningful way, because the legal system moves so slow. I saw in my bullshit case, and you're talking about something with the president of the United States and like far-reaching like political stuff. This something that takes years. So if he can get another presidential candidacy rolling, like, it'll become suddenly like inappropriate conduct for the FBI to even investigate a candidate all of a sudden. So the investigations stop. Investigators phase out. Now they're on to new projects and moving around. Things get stalled for years and years. Now he's the president. Now he's a good president. Like it will never happen. He's not getting any trouble.
I mean,
at this point, if there's a betting line right now, it's much more likely that Biden is in legal issues than Trump is in legal issues.
People that high up don't deal with legal issues.
The person at most professional and political risk right now from legal issues is Joe Biden, not Donald Trump.
Like more like on the laptop thing. Way more troubling than like whatever's on the laptop. I haven't looked into it. Is like knowing fully that big tech companies censor shit unilaterally for political motivations. Like, that's scary. Twitter did the same thing Facebook did, where they would shut you down if you said about it. I didn't follow it at the time, but I know that like they were censoring it and whatnot. Like, and think about it. That's the way, especially at the time, that everyone was communicating with one another. That was the main kind of ability to communicate. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
was very
YouTube,
big during the election.
And it's like, and for those companies to be able to, for any reason, just shut down discussion of a topic is really fucking scary.
There's reporting that Steve Bannon convinced him to run, and he speaks at all these Republican conferences, and he pals around with Roger Stone, and
he's a false flag Democrat. This is great.
People say that. I don't know. I mean, I just read on the internet. What the fuck do I know? But
Trump's winning again. Look, what people don't understand is there's this big organization. Like when Roe versus Wade got overturned, that wasn't just, oh, look, this kind of happened. They'd been working on that for years, coordinating. There was a big party in a room full of people like, we did it. We did it. That was us. Those same people are trying to get Trump back in there. They're sending in the false flag Kennedy. This is great. This is great. Now it can work. DeSantis is not going anywhere. It seems like I really need to see a debate, but I don't know if Trump's going to allow very many debates. It seems like he can control everything. He's almost like the incumbent.
DeSantis sucks.
I was wrong the last time we bet. So with that in mind, I have equaled my false confidence from the last election cycle, and I think Trump is going to get whooped up on. Now, definitely in the general, I'm totally confident. In the primary, I can't explain why. I just think that his baggage is going to weigh him down.
I don't know, man. I don't think so.
It hasn't so far.
I think it's like I think it's going to fuel him, if anything, and fuel his campaign. I think he's gonna like not clean sweep, but like.
Did you see his interview with Brett Baer? Did you guys follow that at all?
Not at all.
All right, it was super duper bad. One, he admitted to all the felonies he's being accused of by Jack Smith. Like he just flat out said, like, listen, I needed more time to go through the boxes, so we told the DOJ that I returned them and that I didn't have them anymore, and like he just
Brett, I've talked to a lot of people, and it's only the homosexuals who even care. Why do you ask?
He admitted to all his felonies that he's being charged with now. Not a good look. But the bigger picture is he reminded me how Biden beat him. When Biden won that, all he did is stay in his basement, make Zoom calls with donors, and let Trump do the talking. And everyone voted against Trump. Well, not everyone, of course. You got a lot of votes too. Yeah. But now let Trump go on. Even Fox News. He can't handle a fucking Fox News interview at this point.
Well, Fox News interviews aren't what they once were. Everything's getting shifted around. It's really interesting to see what's going on with the mainstream media. Trump's about to do a town hall on MSNBC.
Mm-hmm.
The guy at CNN who had the Trump's last town hall, not the last one because Fox News has done one since, but the CNN town hall guy got fired. They got rid of him.
Really?
Yeah.
And I don't know what that means for CNN's direction. The CNN was trying to make a direction. They were like the news of the left, right? Like, I would argue before Trump, they weren't as biased as people said they were. But then during Trump, they earned every bit of criticism that people leveled at them. You know, they became I forget that guy's name who would go to the White House press conferences and it started with an A, I think, and always snipe at him and shit.
Jim Acosta. Yeah, it was just
Acosta. Yeah. Thank you.
Agency.
You're a disgrace.
So they're trying to move away and fix their reputation. And part of it was the town hall. But the town hall was kind of bad news. You know, stocking it with Trump-friendly people, I thought was a step too far. And that guy got fired. So is CNN going to abandon its move to the middle and go back to where they came from on the left? Or are they going to continue to do that? Maybe better this time? We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw the Hunter Biden thing came to some weird sort of ending where he pled to like possession of a firearm by a drug user, which is an interesting charge. And what was the other stuff?
Just do
There's
not
some
care
tax
about Hunter
evasion.
Biden.
Tax.
It's
his DMs were funny that leaked. The messages were funny.
He's such a wild man. He doesn't give a fuck.
He's
Dude's
Charlie.
running around. Banging.
He is Charlie.
He's
wild card.
Is a 100 millionaire son of the president who travels the world fucking whores, doing wild drugs, crack cocaine, and methamphetamine.
Loves crack.
He loves it, and
he makes no bones about it. It is his favorite thing to do.
Again, I feel so square.
John McAfee would have a lot of respect for Hunter Biden.
like Hunter Biden knows how to have fun. I bet Hunter Biden is a blast to hang out with. I bet he knows all the good spots. I bet he can lean toward a waitress and what I would do any drug he's doing.
Crack. Yeah, he's
I wouldn't
crazy.
crack, I wouldn't
meth,
do meth.
whatever.
I wouldn't do meth or crack. I do I do a little coke probably.
I bet he does like crocodile.
What's the
scary Eastern European drugs?
What is the help or like concern issues that of crack cocaine over powdered cocaine? Like I've done powdered cocaine, no big deal. I'm not going to get addicted and do it every day for the next 30 years, so I think I'll be okay. So like, what's the problem with crack? Why can't I just bang out a couple rocks of crack cocaine?
It's frowned upon.
If there's one thing I learned in school, it's crack cocaine once is fine.
Or 2 or 3 times. You can do crack once a month for the rest.
As long
of your
as you're not
life.
addicted to anything, it's probably not that bad.
If you treat crack like ice cream, you'll be fine. Oh, should I?
A once a month treat.
Should I treat myself this? I've been good.
All right, one spoonful. I won't use a bowl. I'll just use a spoon.
Well, I overindulged in ice cream, and so I'm now going to fix it with crack.
But I'm telling you right now, if I'm hanging out with Hunter Biden and he offers me a crack rock, I'm 100% going to smoke it every single time because we're not getting in any fucking trouble. There's no way I go down and he doesn't, and there's no way he goes down. So we're good.
You're a natural fall guy if something did happen.
I was right. I'm recording everything we do. I'm like on camera with Hunter.
Oh, that'll help.
Lighting my rock.
They are going to. You will be melting in a Ukrainian barrel by the end of the fucking evening when they show up and they're like, Hunter, you've been smoking crack, and he's like, I haven't been smoking crack. It's fucking that guy. It's that guy. And they're like, sir, have you been smoking crack? And you're scratching yourself in the corner.
I'm on Facebook Live doing all this. They're not taking me down. No, I would absolutely.
A deep fake video that you are no longer allowed to talk about surfaced on the internet.
I would absolutely hit the crack rock, especially because I would assume that he's an aficionado, that this isn't some street crack. That Hunter Biden, billionaire / 100 millionaire / son of the president, went out to his like connect and was like, give me that good stuff. And they got him like a real good crack rock with that doesn't taste all chemically. It probably tastes like strawberry shortcake. You don't know.
I have this idea there are a few life experiences that'd be really cool to get, right? Wouldn't you want to smoke a J with Snoop Dogg, right? Like he's the guy to pass the blunt with. I think I'm using these terms right. And if I'm with Hunter, we're gonna snort coke off a hooker's ass. That's what he does.
Whatever he wants to do. I mean, we can hide some documents. We can take some bribes from Ukrainians. Whatever he wants to get up to, we can head down to Georgia, maybe hide a few ballots.
I would like
whatever Hunter Biden wants to do.
I would like to do steroids with. I'd like to do steroids with like, Arnold or something. The Rock. Yeah.
The Rock.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, The Rock knows the good steroids. He's never got acne.
I would have gone Chris Bumstead. That's his name, right? Right now. So I'm going to go with Hunter, even though obviously that tide is about to turn. I just don't see 17-year-olds beating grown men very often.
Yeah,
he speaks like not 5 languages like too.
17 is like you're like strong by 17.
So we have very different opinions of 17. I'm like 17. That's like when you first orgasm, right?
No, that's when you start dunking. Like that's what he's doing at 17. Yeah, no, he'd be able to put his hand on Hunter's face and keep him away like a cartoon.
Hunter would fuck him up. Hunter is the kind of man who hires whores and does crap.
He seems scrappy. Yeah,
he's on the mean streets. Okay, you don't think he's ever had to slap a bitch?
Dude,
Biden has been
half
coming
the bitches
all day.
In
He's exhausted.
know not to fuck with Hunter.
As Hunter, as Joe Biden's emissary for the crime family, he's got to be the enforcer. Like he's got to have some kind of hand-to-hand combat deal with those like Ukrainian oligarchs.
You're making a lot of sense.
One would think.
If I was going to hang out, I would love to hang out with Hunter Biden. I bet it's fucking awesome. I think
he's sober now, so it might be a little boring for you.
Someone left the cocaine in the White House.
There's Oh yeah, I wonder who that was. Was it the guy like wiping his nose?
Here's the thing:
he wasn't even in the White House.
Yeah,
he wasn't even in.
So it was left in a place that I guess had a lot of traffic. So it wasn't there for like 6 days, and he hadn't been there for a while, 3-4 days or something. So it wasn't literally Hunter, but you tell me it's not from his circle. It's from his circle.
We know for sure it wasn't literally Hunter.
Yeah, because we know where he was.
You think like Hunter Biden orbiters are just hanging out in the White House, just kind of.
I bet Hunter's crazy. Secret Service guy has a vial of cocaine in his pocket. Is what I think.
Maybe.
Probably. I bet Secret Service guys like hook you up, like because they're not worried about drugs and stuff. They're worried about making sure you don't get assassinated.
First of all, Secret Service are fucking cool as shit. All right, that's the coolest name ever. They didn't even start as some presidential protection service. They were all about counterfeit money or whatever. Now they ride around. Every time you hear about it in a foreign country, they're getting whores, drugs. Hunter Biden's Secret Service guy definitely holds his drugs if he has one around him. And then that guy, he's probably his drug dealer. Those guys are awesome.
And now Joe Biden, I think Joe Biden's brother, they found a fucking profile of his like a naked picture profile on a gay like dating website or platform or whatever.
I don't believe that. When I hear that, I think propaganda.
The picture, you can see it. It's anyway.
But that doesn't mean he made the profile
gay.
Yeah.
Somehow it ended up on that. It ended up on that site, but yeah,
how it ends up on that
picture
site.
Could easily be somebody's dating profile, and that doesn't mean you did it. You're just in the public.
That happens a lot.
Why would people? Is he like a family man who's like I'm like going out getting the Christmas tree and then really blowing some guy at a truck stop, or is he just a gay guy?
I think it's just a gay guy, but it was
who cares? Of course, a gay guy has a gay dating app.
Yeah, there you go. Naked selfie right there, guys. Guys with iPhones. I don't know what the new.
Let's see it. Is he fit?
He's pretty fit.
Yes.
Yeah. He's definitely pretty fit. Yeah.
Dude, for his age group, this guy's a 1%er.
Yeah.
Oh man, he stole all of Joe's virility.
You call that a high value male? But the thing, don't knock Joe, okay? Because he was fucking like 78 years old, and he fell off of a bike and got back on. Like he didn't have to go to the emergency room after falling off of a bike. I'm just saying, when I fall off of a bike, if I ever turn 78, I'm like half of my body is going to shatter when that happens. So I think people are interpreting that bike fall all wrong, in my opinion.
That was pretty embarrassing.
That is a sunny way to look at a bike fall.
He looked like an old.
Look at him! He got up.
It was because it was so.
And it was slow. Like 3 months after a different fall.
Yeah,
it was the pedal clips. I don't. Have you guys ever used the clips with pedals?
You've described them. You're like
a long time ago. Yeah, where you walk your feet in?
It is so easy to do what Joe did, and it happens to everyone who uses them.
Yeah.
Like, so charitable.
No, it literally like. I think this is exposing the fact that you haven't used the toe clip pedals. Like if you had, you'd be like, yeah, you'd fucking fall to the side sometimes.
I have a question. Why is he wearing toe clip pedal special shoes and a bike?
Because
he's a physically active 80-year-old man.
No, I doubt
Is he on his bike this weekend?
You don't. He regularly exercise. I don't know why you guys are pretending like he's not in shape for a fucking.
Look, we've been with you every liberal step of the way tonight. Give us this one. That's a frail old
senile old man who falls off bikes and like stumbles and
he still goes on runs. He still goes on runs every day. Do you think? Who do you think is
even corrected you when you?
Who do you think is in better shape? Who do you think is in better shape? Donald Trump or Joe Biden? Who do you think is in better
physically?
Both.
Oh, mentally Trump, physically probably Biden.
I think an obstacle course is how you determine physical fitness. That's how they do it in the Army.
Find any random transcript of Donald Trump talking or doing an interview and then read it back to me and then tell me his mind is like sharp as a tack.
I have a response to this.
Okay,
I kind of agree. Joe Biden presents as more senile than he really is, and Trump presents as less senile. So hear this out. When I listen to Joe Biden speak, here we go. When I listen to Joe Biden speak, I want to turn the volume up. He has this mumble. I can barely get what he's saying. My own hearing is deteriorating. You need to turn him up. When I hear Trump speak, I need to invent some sort of nonsense canceling headphones. But at least it's loud, it's audible, and it sounds like he fucking said a thing, even if he didn't answer the question, got a little confused, and said he beat Obama in a presidential election. Trump needs nonsense canceling headphones, but he doesn't sound senile.
He speaks very confidently, and
Trump speaks very confidently, and he's a good entertainer. He speaks clearly, like you get what he's saying, even if you don't agree with it. Biden is like
you lost me at the end there.
You understand what he's trying to say generally. Biden is like mumbling. He forgets what he's saying all the time. Okay, he's always looking around with a senile downer, whatever they call it, sundowning eyes. Like he needs people to lead him out of there. Like
how many times have you actually listened? Okay, so for example, 60 Minutes, they did an interview with Biden. It's like a 15-minute segment. Like how many times do you actually watch when Biden gives like prolonged interviews? That's my question.
And I give him, I think I'm fair to him. I grade most of his public speaking. He's actually doing an Oval Office address tonight. It's only his second one.
Yeah, so he's doing it right now.
Watching it
literally right now.
Yeah, don't spoil it. No spoilers, please. If we go to war with Iran, I want to know later, not tonight. I want to find out about that. So sometimes I see him and he's pretty good. He's pretty good. He does this thing where he's like, literally, people. No, I mean it. I mean that.
Yeah.
I mean that. He's like trying to let you. Maybe he's speaking to Gen Z who doesn't even take the word literally. But he has this thing over and over. He's like, I mean it. That's a real thing, not just.
And he says stuff sometimes that's like we're gonna lick the world. Like he obviously he has never been a strong public speaker, but when you sit him down and he's like, if you watch, for example, his debate with Bernie, it was a one-on-one debate with Bernie. He actually did really well in that debate. He did not do well when it was like 8 candidates on the stage and he's like overstimulated or whatever, and then he's like tripping over his speech. But if you listen to the answers that he's giving in like the 60 Minutes interview or whatever, he can give you like comprehensive answers about really complex geopolitical realities, like really complicated issues, and he can get into the minutia about these things. I do not think, I've never seen Trump engage with the issues in the same way ever. And
the thing about Biden, I think a lot of people who have this opinion that he's very senile are getting their information through like compilations on Twitter.
Yeah.
And they just choose his lowest lows. They make a sequence of them and you get a false impression of what he's really like. These are the people who don't watch like a 15-minute, 60-minute section and get a more accurate representation of where Biden is.
It's trial by vibes. Like a lot of people in the country, they judge like the political landscape off of just kind of like personal vibes. And
did you see him this week?
Yeah, pretty much everyone.
Did you see him in Israel?
Yeah, I did.
It was bad. I mean, he looked very sleepy. The jet lag was definitely affecting him tremendously. He was all stooped over, sitting in that chair with Netanyahu and his cue cards and everything. This and that, and Israel, and restrained response. And I'm literally, people. Yeah, he didn't look good. And
That's pretty.
That's what I get from. That's CNN's take. I don't know.
And
how
these aren't like necessarily.
I have to go to find
like
people who think he's like a strong public speaker or not too old to speak well. I don't think he's going to run, or if he does, I think he's going to die. Like
you
running.
don't think Biden will run?
He's just too old, and he's with it.
He's running. I think. Listen, look, he's clearly like
cutoff.
He's clearly like an older guy, but I think you guys are way overselling his like aloofness, because aside from his speech impediment and aside from his like not being as energetic as he was like 10 or 20 years ago, he's a fucking 80-year-old man, of course. He can give you like really coherent, long, lengthy, comprehensive answers to complex questions. And I think that's his age, personally, it doesn't as long as he's doing things that I agree with, then I don't give a fuck. And it's the same thing with like Trump supporters. Like they might not like Trump personally, but if he's doing policies that they like, then it doesn't fucking matter that he says crazy shit or whatever and is embroiled in this scandal or that scandal.
He might kill him. I think if he does like a full press campaign, if it's neck and neck and Trump's ahead and he's having to make all those stops, like, yes, Mr. Biden, it's ABC at 6, NBC at 6:30, at 8 p.m. we're going to be on the road in Wisconsin. At 9 o'clock, you're going to be on your plane. We're landing at 10. If it's days like that for weeks at a time, I think that'll literally kill that old man. And that has nothing to do with like his mental faculties. I think that is very stressful and ages.
I look forward to seeing what you're talking about, Kyle, because during Biden's presidency, he hasn't been that accessible. I think I like a lot of the policies. I feel like he's doing the right thing, and I'm mostly thinking about Ukraine and now perhaps Israel. I'm a little
his foreign policy. I'm on board with. Obviously, economically, if we drew one of those fucking boards, Taylor, we'll get to your fucking isolationist. Let's all hide out here behind.
What? Getting health care before we fund more wars?
You hated healthcare for you.
They're not mutually exclusive. If we stop giving funding to Ukraine tomorrow, it's not like we could summon the political will to get like Medicare for all or whatever.
Healthcare. If they can afford it, they've got too much.
People talk about it in terms of like, okay, why are we giving this like $30 billion to Ukraine? We could be doing the homeless vet stuff or whatever. But it's like, if we didn't give any of that money, you would still have a debate in Congress about how that money should be spent. And it's not like that. It's not we would automatically get healthcare if we didn't give.
No, it wouldn't automatically, but you could get other things for it. You could not spend hundreds of billions on foreign wars and that don't service the American people.
What are we sacrificing domestically? Give me a specific policy that we don't have because we're giving funding to Ukraine.
We have shit tons of inflation. We're printing money. We are printing billions of dollars.
There is a global inflation. There are global inflationary pressures going on right now for a variety of reasons, including the
anchor point currency. Like we are the global currency. Like we are
Italy
by which all others are compared. And ever since they did the huge COVID stimulus thing and printed shit tons of money, now we're seeing inflation running rampant. The cost of energy, the cost of food, home ownership, 8% mortgage rate.
Our inflation is lower than the rest of the world.
Every other country in the G7.
They're not dragging our anchor.
We fared better than every other country in the G7. Are we saying that like inflation in Germany is because Joe Biden passed the American Rescue Plan? Is that what you think?
No, forget about Joe Biden and Trump in that area. We print money for businesses, non-government organizations in the form of the COVID shit where they hand it all out and they send you a little pittance, and then we fund infinite wars and we keep printing more and more and more money from the Fed. And what does that do? That obviously causes inflation. And the result of people on the ground here is the cost of food, energy, day-to-day purchases, home ownership has become an impossibility. This shit is not good for the American public.